Batman Arkham City side content is hit and miss to say the least. There's the highest of highs of the Victor Zsasz and Hush hunts, and then the lowest of lows like Bane's team up or navigating the steel mill to find a pointless upgrade. They truly are very different sides of the same coin. One mission that always stuck out to me but also left me wanting more was Shot in the Dark, the side mission which sees Batman take on the world's greatest marksman, Deadshot. When I say it left me wanting more, it just left me wanting more Deadshot. He has the potential to be such an interesting and fun character to explore, but unfortunately, as is the case with a lot of Arkham side content, he got turned into a pretty lame boss fight, which, in fairness, was built up to by some pretty fun detective gameplay. Anyway, I want to fix this mission, rewrite it, and give you my spin on Shot in the Dark. And if you enjoy it, there's plenty more where that came from, because this is a part of my Rewrite universe, which is a project of mine where I attempt to rewrite Arkham Asylum, City, and Night, ending the series on my own completely original story called Arkham Talon, while giving you some side mission rewrites along the way to flesh out my take on the Arkhamverse. I've already put my spins on Arkham Asylum's main story, for which I've also written a side mission featuring Arnold Wesker, and I've done Arkham City's main story, which is accompanied by a rewritten Bane side mission. This isn't the Arkhamverse you're used to, though. All you really need to know is that my Batman is a lot more human and more liable to falter than the Arkham Bats you're accustomed to, so keep that in mind as we go forward. This isn't the Arkham Batman you know. Obviously, not all of the footage will match up with what I'm saying exactly, as all of this is purely hypothetical, although I'll do my best to provide some visual aid. Also, hit the like button if you enjoy the video, it genuinely helps me more than you know, and we're so close to 20,000 subscribers, so while you're down there, hit the subscribe button too. It would be great to have you stick around. Anyway, enough setup, and without further ado, let's get into how I'd rewrite Shot in the Dark. This side mission would trigger and be ready to begin at some point in the middle of the main story. It would begin by Tiger command scanners picking up a loud, almost sonic boom style sound coming from somewhere in Arkham City. Batman would be able to go onto his map and listen to a radio report from a Tiger Guard who would report that the gunshot came from the Bowery and that's quote-unquote one down. Upon heading over to the Bowery, Batman can find a dead body against a wall. We activate detective mode and do some crime scene reconstruction, and we end up deducing that the shot came from a nearly impossible angle. Very few people could have made that shot. It was either just that, an impossible shot, or someone got very lucky. After gliding around Arkham City a bit more, another report would come in over the comms that another body has popped up in the amusement mile. Batman heads over there and tracks the body down, and he finds the corpse slumped against the wall Golden Freddy style, and he doesn't need to do any detective work to figure out what's happened here. A point-blank shot from a pistol right between the eyes. Batman asks Alfred to see if there's a link between the two victims or if they're just random gang killings, and this part of the side mission ends. A little later, another report would come in from Tiger Command that another body has turned up. This time though, a small squad of guards has been deployed to check the corpse. Batman would show up to the location, the GCPD station, and find the body surrounded by Tiger Guards investigating it. Batman would take them out and make a grisly discovery. This person has been shot twice. We find out through some detective work that the first shot dropped the target, taking him to his knees, before someone got up close and finished the job with a modified shotgun, which does a number on the target's chest. Batman calls Alfred and mentions how whoever is doing this is getting desperate. The first kill was nearly surgical, the second was simple, and the third was messy. Alfred concurs and tells Batman that he did some digging, and all of the men who've turned up dead so far have been key members of the protest group SAC, or Shut Arkham City, a group who regularly caused issues during the construction of the city and were arrested following its opening to silence them for good. Batman thanks Alfred and heads off to do whatever the player wants to do next. A while later, one final body shows up. Batman heads to the entrance of Arkham City and finds it. He does some detective work and it doesn't take long to observe the fact that this body has a knife sticking out of his chest and a gunshot in the shoulder. In typical Arkham fashion, and because I'm nothing if not a student of the game, Batman follows a blood trail left behind by the killer. He tracks the trail to a junction box on top of a nearby building, and after ripping the cover off the box he finds a stash of weapons, ammo and gear used by the killer, and after scanning the gear we find out it's been Deadshot the whole time. Batman notes how it's not like Floyd to get sloppy ever. He then grabs a phone out of the junction box and listens to a recorded message left on the phone that same morning. The call is from Hugo Strange to Floyd Lorton, and it goes as follows. Strange comes on the phone and says, "Mr. Lorton, you are the world's greatest assassin, are you not? You should have no problem with what I'm about to ask of you then. Next to you, you will find a box. A box containing your gear and enough weaponry to keep even you satisfied. Use it and use it wisely. In the phone to your left lies a list of targets. Targets you will kill for me. Don't even think about using those weapons to escape. It will not work. Even you can't kill all of the guards. Oh, and it almost slipped my mind. If this isn't completed according to the schedule you'll find on your new phone, your daughter Zoe will meet a swift end. But don't worry, minimal harm will come to her before then. Best of luck, Deadshot." The voicemail cuts off and Batman and Alfred talk about what they just heard. Batman says this must be why he got sloppy. He was trying to stick to his schedule, a schedule he couldn't possibly stick to in his usual style. He began making mistakes, messing up, and he got sloppy, and that led to Batman finding his stash. Batman finds the schedule and finds Deadshot still has 3 hits to go through with. Jack Ryder, Bruce Wayne, and finally, Batman. Ryder is scheduled to be killed in 2 minutes in Park Row, so Batman has to get to him before Floyd does. Batman races across the city and manages to get to Ryder, who's cowering in an alleyway near the courthouse on Park Row, just in time to move him out of the way of Deadshot's crosshairs. Batman uses his detective mode and catches a glimpse of Floyd running across the rooftop, to which he gives chase and grapples up. This chase would work similarly to the ninja chase in the main game, with Batman pursuing Deadshot across the roofs of Arkham City before we'd get a small hand-to-hand fight against Floyd, where Batman would have to dodge gunfire by evading, stun grenades by actually throwing them back at Deadshot, before using the quick-fire backlaw to drag him closer and drop him, and Deadshot's final attack would be a play on Ra's al Ghul's "I'm not going to sugarcoat it" sword attacks, but this time with bullets. Batman would have to block a few shots with the gauntlets, and these would actually stagger him, causing Deadshot to move in for the kill, but Batman would counter and eventually manage to take Deadshot down. While down, Deadshot would try and shoot Batman in the mouth, but he finds his gun has been jammed by the Dark Knight. Batman tells him to give up and that he knows Strange took Zoe. Floyd would say that he doesn't know what he'd do with himself if anything happened to her, and he'll kill everyone on that list and more if it means getting her back safe and sound. Batman says he understands and he can help. Floyd asks why he'd even help him, he did just try and blow his head smooth off after all, and Batman reaches out a hand and tells Floyd that he won't let them hurt Zoe, before pulling Floyd to his feet, and he tells him he'll find Zoe and he wants Floyd to get his stuff and find a safe spot for him and Zoe to escape when all this is over. Deadshot thanks Batman and tells him he's got something that might help him, before he goes and pulls out, and brace yourself long-time fans of the series, the explosive gel. Now, for those of you not in the know as to why this is a pretty monumental moment, let me give you the rundown. So, back in the Arkham Asylum rewrite, the video which started this universe, I made the choice to not give Batman the explosive gel when he grabs it out of the Batmobile on Arkham Island. Our first gadget, that being the Sonic Batarang. This isn't a change for change's sake, this is actually going to be fairly important later, so just stick with me here. I never really thought it played a big enough part in the game to warrant taking up a gadget slot, and it got replaced with the Sonic Batarang, which in my rewritten Asylum story played a much bigger part than the gel ever did. However, people weren't a fan of this change in the slightest, and I never realised how many people would be outraged by the exclusion of a gadget, but hey, the people spoke and I listened. In this universe, the gel is a gadget Batman gets from Deadshot to break into a Tiger Command subunit to track Zoe's location. So rejoice, the prodigal son returns to save the daughter of the world's greatest hitman. You might be asking though, why does Deadshot even have a version of the explosive gel? Well, in my head, it could be a handy tool for an assassin to have, for traversal, or even as a last resort for combat. It won't look like the gel as we know it though, instead taking the form of the Arkham Origins beta gel, a more gun-looking form to fit in Deadshot's arsenal a bit nicer. Anyway, Batman would leave and ask Alfred to pull up a list of high security clearance Tiger operatives, the lieutenants of the operation. Alfred finds a Tiger lieutenant who was tasked to defend a field command base in the Bowery under the orders of Strange, and according to his rap sheet, he's one of Strange's most trusted right-hand men. Batman heads to the command unit, using the newly acquired explosive gel to blow the roof in and fight his way through a group of Tiger Guards in a giant fight which includes a ton of weapons, and we get introduced to the quickfire explosive gel here, using it to thin the herd out before finally taking down the guards while leaving one awake, Strange's lieutenant. Batman drags him up to the rooftop and interrogates him loose lip style, threatening to drop him if he even thinks of lying to him. The guard, still under Strange's brainwashing, doesn't give in though, and eventually Batman drags him back onto the roof, knocks him out and takes the SD card from his radio, using the cryptographic sequencer to listen into comms between a remote Tiger command unit based in Arkham Asylum and a Tiger field base in Arkham City, which confirms that the quote-unquote hostage is being held in an apartment building in the Bowery near the museum, so that's where we go next. Batman breaks in through a vent and finds himself in a large room full of armed Tiger Guards, and with Zoe being held in a room in the back, we have to take out the guards, using the explosive gel to take out the armed thugs by luring them into traps. After taking the majority of them out, one guard runs into the room where Zoe is being held and holds her at gunpoint, and Batman needs to take out the final 5 guards without being spotted or alerting any of them, or Zoe will be killed. I also think it's worth mentioning here, just to, save some face, that Zoe isn't a child here, so we can get away with killing her if the player fails. We'll say she's like early 20s and move on with that. I didn't want to deal with having to explain why these Tiger operatives are just out here killing kids. They're not. Zoe is like 23, let's say. She's not a child. Anyway, if the player successfully takes out the 5 remaining guards without alerting them, he enters a grate and uses a takedown on the hostage taker, saving Zoe. As Batman goes to comfort her and calm her down, 4 more armed guards burst in the room and hold Batman and Zoe at gunpoint, demanding Batman hands her over before they open fire and kill them both. Batman prepares to try and deal with the guards, but before he does, bang! All 4 guards drop at the same time, their brains becoming a nice red painting on the wall next to them. Zoe screams, but Batman knows what's going on. He looks out the window behind where the guards were stood and sees Floyd perched atop a roof, rifle in hand. He salutes at Batman and heads over to the building across the street to get his daughter. We cut to Batman and Zoe on the roof of the building, and Floyd opening the fire escape, running to his daughter and hugging her, telling her he's sorry for getting her dragged into this. Zoe says she's okay and she still loves him. It wasn't his fault after all. Floyd turns to Batman and the pair talk. Batman says Floyd and Zoe need to get out of this place right now. Floyd says he found a stretch of the perimeter wall unguarded by Tiger, and he'll be able to get them out no problem, even if he has to take a few guards out on the way. Batman nods and tells them to be careful. As they walk off, Floyd turns back, hand in hand with Zoe, and says, "You know, Bat, next time someone puts a bounty on you, I'll take it easy on you. See you around." And the father and daughter leave Arkham City. After the cutscene, Batman talks to Alfred, and Alfred says he's happy that's over with Batman replying that he'll give Floyd a day with his daughter, then he needs to pay for his crimes tonight. And with that, the mission line ends. And that is my rewritten Shot in the Dark side mission. My goal here was to humanise Deadshot more and give him more screen time, and obviously reintroduce the explosive gel into the fold as a bit of fan service. Don't worry though, the gel will be sticking around from now on. I also didn't want Batman to help Floyd without acknowledging that he still killed 4 people, and he needs to face justice for that, but Batman has to give him a head start anyway, so to speak, as he ties up any loose ends in Arkham City. And that's about it really. Hopefully this improves on the main game's mission and shows Floyd as a bit more of a 4-dimensional character than a one-note killer. I do hope you enjoyed it, let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.